Have you ever wondered why or this crazy position with 6 knights on the board occur in real chess games? Yes, you didn't hear it wrong. All of those positions are from actual chess games. And today we are going to learn how is it possible to have those kinds of crazy positions in your own games. So today I'm going to show you guys a very special move called pawn promotion, which creates all of these beautiful and fun stuff in chess. Now, if you want to have 9 queens in one game, let's start. Pawns are the weakest pieces in chess and they can only move forward during the entire game. But pawns have a special move called pawn promotion. If a pawn goes all the way up the board and reaches the last rank, it promotes to a stronger piece. To understand pawn promotion better, let's take a look at this first position. Here we see that this white pawn has come all the way to b7 and now it is only one move away from getting to the last rank. When a pawn gets to the last rank, the player can choose to promote the pawn to a queen, rook, bishop, or knight. So for example, in this position, it's white's turn and white can push the pawn forward and now the pawn has reached the last rank. As you can see, the system gives us a choice here. We can decide to promote our pawn to a queen, rook, bishop, or knight. Remember, you can't promote your pawn to a king because each side can only have one king in chess, and the pawn can't stay as a pawn in the last rank, so you have to replace your pawn with one of these pieces. 99% of the time, we want to promote our pawns to a queen because queen is the most powerful piece in chess. Promoting a pawn to a queen is called queening the pawn, and promoting a pawn to any piece other than a queen is called under promotion. So for example, if you promote to a bishop, rook, or knight, it's called under promotion. Under promotion happens very, very rarely in chess because almost always we want to have the strongest piece possible, which is queen. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of things you should always keep in mind about pawn promotion. First of all, this whole process is only one move. In this position, for example, your opponent plays something and now it is your turn and you first push the pawn and replace it with the piece you want. Now your turn is over and the game continues just like normal. Your opponent plays something again and now you can start using your new piece. So don't forget, pawn promotion is only one move. Second thing is that you put your new piece to the square where your pawn has promoted from. For instance, if you promote to a queen, you don't put your queen on the square where your queen starts the game. You put it on the square where your pawn reaches the last rank. So in this case, your pawn reaches the last rank on b8, so you will also put your queen on b8. Here the system puts the queen on the right square automatically, but in real life, you have to be careful about where you put the pieces you promote. The third and the most important one is that even if you already have a queen on the board, like in this position, you can still promote your pawn and have a second queen. So it's not like, oh, I already have a queen on the board, so I can't promote and have another queen. No, that's not true. You can have so much queens on the board as long as you promote your pawns to a queen. Potentially, if you promote all 8 of your pawns to a queen, adding up the queen that you already have at the beginning of the game, you can have 9 queens in one game. And I would say it's very hard, but it's still possible if you promote all 8 of your pawns to a queen. So this is how some positions have some crazy number of knights and queens and bishops at the same time, like we saw at the beginning of the video. Now let's take a look at one final example of pawn promotion to review everything we learned today. So in this position, it's black's turn, and we see that white has an extra knight against this black pawn on c3. Normally, a knight is much more powerful than a pawn, but in this position, this black pawn has marched all the way to c3, and now it is only 2 moves away from reaching to the last rank. Here, black can push the pawn forward to c2 and get even closer to the last rank. Here, black is both attacking this knight and the pawn wants to promote to a queen in the next move. If the knight escapes now, for example, to a3, the black pawn goes forward again, and now it has reached the last rank, so we can replace our pawn with a queen. And actually, in this position, it's a beautiful checkmate because the white king can't escape anywhere because of its own pawns. So this can be an example of promoting a pawn and checkmating at the same time. So instead of escaping the knight here, if white plays something like this to create an escaping room for his king, now you can capture the knight and still promote your pawn as it still reaches to the last rank. So capturing a piece doesn't prevent anything. As long as your pawn reaches to the last rank, you can do pawn promotion. So here, white king can escape for now, but black has an extra queen and it is completely winning for black. I hope this video was helpful. Now you know everything you need to apply pawn promotions in your own games. See you in the next video.